A new study reveals that scientifically, it really is just a phase, Mom. And we're going to talk about that here today on Speechless. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Phares, 23-year-old conservative activist, host of Speechless, which is not only a radio show, it's also right here wherever you're watching from. And to make sure that you don't miss a minute of any of my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, and share it with your friends. But it is really just a phase, Mom. Out of the Daily Wire, it really is just a phase. A 15-year study shows that this gender confusion that's hitting the entirety of Gen Z and even older is likely that kids will grow out of it. The Netherlands-based study includes more than 2,700 children beginning at age 11. They were asked every 3 years into their mid-20s to describe their feelings about their own gender. While just over 1 in 10, about 11%, reported some degree of, quote, non-contentedness with their gender at some point during the study. By age 25, that number had dropped to 1 in 5, 4%. So a 7% decrease by the time of full brain development. The study, titled Knowledge or Tracking Adolescents' Individual Lives survey, began in 2001 and asked every participant to respond to this statement, quote, "I wish to be of the opposite sex." They were never asked to respond to that statement every 2 to 3, or they were asked to respond to that statement every 2 or 3 years over the course of the 15-year study. And each time they were given an array of choices. 0 not true, 1 somewhat true, or sometimes true, to 2 very true or often true. And while the researchers did acknowledge some limitations to the study, namely that the participants were taken from the general population and had not necessarily been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, they still concluded that it lent weight to the idea that discontentment with gender was more common among teens than once they became adults. Quote, "The results of the current study might help adolescents to realize that it is normal to have some doubts about one's identity and one's gender identity during this age period, and that this is also relatively common." Critics of radical gender theory were quick to point out that all the study really did was confirm what they had believed from the start. Medical intervention for what is likely a phase and almost certainly has an emotional or psychological causes of harm, it ends up harming more children than it could ever help. However, you will still have people on the left that will look you in the eye and tell you that you are killing children by not allowing them to mutilate their genitals or take hormone blockers that will forever change the chemical makeup of their brain and their body. Why is this? Well, simply put, for the most part, people have been brainwashed. And I've talked about this multiple times on the show. And so to make sure you guys don't ever miss it again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, everything like that, because then you would hear what I have to say. You'd hear that this is a plan. This is something that I have grown up with, and it's happened even prior to me. But I'm 23, and I remember being in elementary school. And I remember all of my friends, young men, who couldn't sit still in class, couldn't pay attention very well. And so then they got talked to, their parents got talked to, and then whoop, they got diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, or something like that, or some kind of attention deficit disorder. And then quickly they were put on prescriptions. Well, then their prescriptions made them not themselves. Their parents would describe them as dull compared to what they used to be, unimaginative, tired. So then they took them off the pills, got their kid back as much as they could, and found other ways to relieve their energy, their excess energy. Oh man, the drug companies were not very happy with that. So then what happened next? Well, then everybody has a mental illness. By the time I was in middle school and high school, everyone was diagnosed with some level of anxiety or depression. And to be clear, there's a huge difference between just being sad and having clinical depression. However, the difference was not as easy to tell, and anybody who wanted Xanax, Zoloft, or the like could pretty much get it by being age 16 and having teen angst. Once again, a child, a young boy, is not meant to sit in a classroom all day. of course, all of them are going to have quote unquote attention deficit disorder. A teenager who has rapidly changing bodies, hormones, is not going to feel comfortable in their body. That's kind of the point. They're going to be anxious. They're going to be sad. They're going to be discontent. However, that doesn't mean we should just be prescribing them all these drugs. But the drug companies would see it differently. But then what happened to these 16-year-olds who had gotten Zoloft, Xanax, and the like? They said, well, I don't feel like myself. I'm still I might be not as anxious, but I just don't feel anything. I don't feel happier. I don't feel better. Maybe if I just try like diet and exercise, maybe that'll help. So then they get off the drugs. Noticing a pattern here? The ADHD kid off the drugs, no more money in Big Pharma's pocket. The depressed teenager off the drug, no more money, and Big Pharma's out of their pocket. Now, here's what happened. Big Pharma got smart. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on them. And they took that personally. Now that not everybody, while mental health has become more accepted and blah, 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 it's still recognized as an illness. Depression and anxiety are an illness. ADHD is a deficiency. It's attention deficit disorder. However, they realized, hey, there's kind of like this lesser known thing, and it's put under the umbrella of the gay community. And so if we make it so that nobody sees it, we're going to get it out of the DSM. We're not going to make it understood as an illness. Then we can get kids hooked on this and hooked on it for life. But it can't be an illness, because if it's an illness, then people will try to say, oh, well, it's just a phase. You'll grow out of it. So we got to make it so that, no. It's a radical lifestyle trend. And not just a trend. You're a bigot if you don't accept it. It is a whole new protected class created by the drug companies, indoctrinated by our institutions, and propagated by our government. At least the lefties in it. And that is what the transgender movement has become. And now, is that the only thing that is driving the transgender movement? I don't think so. However, let's be clear. These drug companies don't care about saving your kid's life because they're going to go commit suicide if they don't take your drug. No, these same drug companies like create euthanasia pills and help out with the creation of abortion pills. They don't care about saving a kid's life. These same drug companies like Purdue Pharma created Oxycontin and pushed this lie that it was completely safe and non-addictive. They don't care about you. They don't care about your kid. What they do care about is taking the money from your pocket by any means necessary. Whether that's dociling your precious child who has ADD, forcing down your throat that you have anxiety and depression simply because you're a hormonal teenager, or telling you you're a bigot if you won't let your kids sterilize themselves and make permanent changes that, at least according to the Netherlands, is just a phase, Mom. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. And when you do, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends. Like I said, comment what you think, and all of the above. In the meantime, everybody, stay off drugs and stay in school. God bless you. And God bless America. This has been Speechless.